this is absolutely the cutest gnome I have ever made. Like, I'm in love with it. Okay, so we're gonna dive right in to what is included in your kit. Okay, so this month I decided to give myself a box, okay? I thought these were so cute. I was very proud of how they came out. So I went ahead and packaged one up for myself. Here you see inside, we have our sticker and we have our honeybee tissue paper. So cute, okay? And inside of here, you have several different items for you to make your honeybee gnome, okay? So starting off, we have our topper. Love the fact that the topper is hollowed out so it's not heavy. We have some feet for our gnome, super cute and easy to apply. We also have the honey pot hand stirrer and left hand. We have some extra add-ons, okay, just in case you want to decorate your tumbler. And we have some translucent glitter wings this time. Super fun and cute. So let's go ahead and dive into it. The tumbler that I chose to use is a 16-ounce wine tumbler from Tipsy Magnolia. This is my choice, okay, but you have, plenty of options for you to use for this set, okay? You just need to go ahead and try out the topper and the booties to make sure that it's a good fit on whatever tumbler that you choose to use. Okay, but the first thing we need to do is roll out some clay for the nose and for the brim of the hat. I am using Super Sculpey. It is my favorite brand of clay. Okay, this is a oven baked clay, so you want to make sure that before you add any epoxy or anything onto your tumbler, all right, you want to do this step first. Okay, you're going to start by lightly sanding your tumbler, and then you're going to add your nose and your brim onto your tumbler and bake it. I chose to bake mine at 225 for about 15 minutes. You will know that your clay is baked completely when the color of the clay turns a little bit lighter or dull in color and you press on it and it is completely hard and not flexible at all. If you're new to clay, I highly suggest you go back and watch some of my older tutorials. I go over, some of the tools that I use to make this process a lot easier for me. One of the things that I use, you see here, is this rolling pin and the pasta press. This is a great way for you to save your arms, honestly, and to get nice, even thickness on your clay. Okay, so once you have rolled it through your pasta press and you have your desired thickness, okay, which is up to you as the artist. You could have a really big brim, you could have a really small brim. I chose to go kind of minimal with this tumbler, okay, and now I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and I am going to make a nose. All right, again, you could make this as big of a nose as you want or as detailed of a nose that you want. I'm just taking it in my hand and rolling it around, and I am going to press it down and kind of flatten out this nose. Then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I am going to slice my clay and roll it on my table to kind of make what they call a snake of clay. And then I'm going to be using that as my brim, okay, and pressing that onto my tumbler. I'm going to combine the two pieces, the nose and the brim, and I'm going to put it around my tumbler and kind of press it in to the tumbler as much as I can, all right? So my main focus for this part was not perfection. Remember, you're going to be adding glitter. You're going to be adding, epoxy or, paint or whatever you decide to do. And that's going to camouflage a lot of things. But my main focus for me was to make sure that the brim was even on both sides of the nose. Into the tumbler, I am kind of constantly turning and looking at it to make sure both sides are even, okay, and that one side wasn't doing the gangster lean, okay. You have the option again to take alcohol and smooth out any bumps onto your clay. You also have the option to get clay tools and help, use them to help you get your clay as even as you want it. Okay, so I went ahead and base spray painted my entire tumbler white. I also lightly sanded my topper and base spray painted that white as my choice because of the alcohol ink technique that I'm going to do later on. It works very well on a, spray painted base. Okay. And now I am just going ahead and I'm taking my brush and I'm taking Tack-It, which is a type of glue, as most of you know. And I'm gonna go ahead and glitter the entire tumbler gold, okay? And once I glittered this gold, I'm going to paint the nose brown, okay, or skin complexion. And then I'm going to seal all of this in with Rust-Oleum Clear, okay? And then I'm going to add my epoxy. Okay, so after I have painted my pieces, it's time for epoxy, and I am going to be using a fast curing epoxy, and I am literally pouring a lot of it in here. That is because I really wanted to make sure that I got a really good coverage. I did over estimate how much epoxy I was going to need. I would suggest probably about 20 milliliters of your A and B fast curing resin, okay? And I'm just taking it and I'm going to mix it up very well, and then I'm going to apply it to my tumbler, okay? Again, I made sure that I sealed this very well with Rust-Oleum Clear, okay? And now I'm just going to be applying my epoxy. I used a gloved hand for the tumbler and the topper, and then for the little miniature pieces, the hands and the honey pot and the stir stick, you'll see I just went ahead and used one of my paint brushes. The glitter that I'm using is Cleopatra by Peachy Olive Glitters. It gives a very good coverage, like again, I used a white spray painted tumbler, and you can't see the white through the gold, so I really do like that as far as this goes. But I wound up, while this was on my turner, on the epoxy, with the epoxy on it, I wound up taking some different chunky glitter brands and using them all over this tumbler. Because I'm doing the peekaboo method, I wanted to make sure I had some texture and some depth to this design, and I found that using the chunky glitter as well as the fine glitter, which this is 0.15, gave it a really nice look, okay? But you see here, I am just really liberally adding on this epoxy. I'm really pressing it into the glitter. But once you do all of that, you are just now going to take your brush and you are going to paint the little miniature pieces. You are going to allow them to cure on your silicone mat, okay? You see here, it really doesn't matter. It's up to you how you place them down, but it is going to pool because epoxy is self-leveling. It's just going to kind of do its thing. And then once it has cured, you're going to get your scissors or your cuticle cutters that I keep telling you guys to get. And you are going to use those to snip off any, you know, additional epoxy that has come down. Okay. Y'all still with me? Okay, so we are basically at the designing part, okay? I'm doing the peekaboo method for this tumbler, like I said before, all right? I have to add those hexagon shapes. That's what you see in red, all right? And I also have to tape off the nose because I don't want it to have, white spray paint on it, all right? And then I'm gonna take this cup outside. I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint it white, all right? And then I am gonna add alcohol ink, okay? This is one of my favorite tumbler techniques, and it was a bestseller for my business when I was just selling tumblers using yellow alcohol ink. It doesn't matter the brand, and like Butterscotch alcohol ink. You take that with a sponge brush and you just dab it on, okay? The more you add, honestly, the more beautiful it becomes. It kind of takes away and adds on and creates this beautiful texture onto your tumbler. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys watch that just in case you want to see it. If you don't, you can go ahead and fast forward. Okay, but again, I'm using Sunshine Yellow and Butterscotch to go ahead and create that beautiful texture. Okay, how beautiful is this texture? It's just so pretty. I love it. I guess You know, it's one of my favorite techniques because you can't really go wrong, okay? But now you're going to take your weeding tool and you are going to remove your hexagon shapes to expose that beautiful glitter that you worked so hard on. You do want to make sure that you remove them all. I, in the past, have, you know, been rushing and forgotten a hexagon shape. So just make sure you check and then double check, okay? And you can choose to add an outline. I wound up adding an outline to mine later on, but you can choose to add an outline to yours, or just leave it like this. Honestly, it looks good both ways. Okay, so keep in mind all of this is designing. This is just a tutorial on how I design mine, but this is not telling you you have to do all that I'm doing, okay? I chose to remove some of the paint and alcohol ink that is on the brim of the hat. I think it looked beautiful exposed, but still kind of covered up with some alcohol ink. So you see me here with some Q-tips. I should have really gotten a rag and used some acetone to do it, but I didn't have that on hand, so I used what I had. And I am just taking my acetone and I am rubbing the paint off, and I am exposing that glitter, okay? Again, this is going to be a lot quicker if you just get a washcloth or some kind of lint-free cloth and then just do it that way, okay? I had a lot of control with this Q-tip, so I do say that, but it really is up to you on how you decide to design your honeybee gnome. So you already know I'm doing the same thing on the topper. Okay, remember I said in the beginning, I base spray painted this white, right? Then I glittered it. Then I added my hexagon shapes, right? Then I went ahead and spray painted it white again. Now I'm adding my owl ink. I'm saying all that again because I'm not sure that you're going to get the same technique if you just alcohol ink right onto the 3D printed item. The alcohol ink kind of soaks in and then doesn't really stay on top. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. You guys let me know in the comments how it worked out for you. Okay, but this is going to be a really cute design because the hat matches the topper. Okay, so I'm excited to see what you guys do with this and what kind of spin-off you actually create with this design. Okay, so I had worked really hard on getting this how I wanted it. I did not want to take the chance that I was going to mess this up with vinyl, okay, because it's a curved tumbler, and in the past I have not done very well with adding vinyl to curved tumblers. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna risk it. Okay, so here I am using Bob's 15 Mid-Cure Epoxy. I just took a little bit of A and a little bit of B, mixed it up with my toothpick, and I'm applying that to the booties. I'm going to apply it to the bottom base of the boot, and then I'm going to apply it also to the side. I'm going to do the same thing for the honey pot with the hand. I'm going to turn it over and apply that to all of the edges and around, okay? But the other hand, which is the right hand, I will say, I am going to be using hot glue. Okay, so you are going to need to experiment with this. Some people use E6000 on these 3D elements. Really and truly, you're going to have to figure out the best glue that works for you. I love Bob Smith. It is a epoxy, so it is very much, you know, of a secure type of glue. It does have a little bit of a smell, okay? So make sure you're using it in a well ventilated area. I like the 15 Mid-Cure because it doesn't take long to set, and I can kind of move on to my next step. Okay, but if you have a favorite glue, please go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'm always open to trying new things, and I would love to hear from you what type of adhesive that you use for your 3D projects. One thing that I do if I'm using Bob Smith is I wait for the epoxy to get a little tacky. Okay, so that's just something that I do because it's going to be able to stick on there a lot easier and I don't have to worry about it. I'll just wait maybe 5 minutes and it'll get a little tacky and then it'll stick onto whatever I'm trying to get it to stick on. So that's what I did with the honey pot. I waited for it to get a little sticky, and you know, then I went ahead and added it onto the tumbler. Keep in mind, this is a step just for the adhesive. Remember, you're gonna have to seal all of this in with epoxy after you're done. So far, I am loving it. It's coming out so cute, so great. Very pleased with it so far. All right, and so let's add that honey stirrer. Remember, I added the hand with hot glue, just stuck it on, no biggie. And now I'm just going to take a little bit of hot glue, and I am going to make like a line, and then I'm going to add it to the hand. Okay, that was, you know, pretty simple. All you have to do is just stick it on, hold it on, and position it where you want it. Okay, now it's time to epoxy all of this in. Okay, again, I'm using a fast curing epoxy because why not? And secondly, I went ahead and added a iridescent fine glitter called Golden Opal by Sass & Crafts. It's one of my favorite opal-y glitters. Okay, it's very fine and it kind of just melts into the epoxy. All right, and so I'm adding this epoxy on again with my gloved hand. I am going to be using a brush so I can get into the nooks and crannies. And this is my second layer of epoxy. Okay, I will be adding a third layer. In this design for the honey pot with the hand, you have the option to fill up the honey pot with something, okay, or you could do what I did, which is take a piece of acetate paper, cut it, close it up, and add glitter on top so it can look like honey is coming out of your honey pot. Okay, it's totally up to you. Possibilities are endless with this design. I absolutely love it, and I hope you guys too. I hope you guys do too. Please be sure to leave me some feedback in the comment section and let me know how you're feeling it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go ahead and take this time to shout out my mentorship group, SSVIP. I thank you very much for being here with me along this journey and supporting me. Many of you got this box. This is tier 2's box. Okay, I will be doing another tutorial for tier 3's box, which is the tumbler sleeve. We stuck with the theme of the honeybee. Okay, so that'll be really, really cool to see. That'll be coming up later on this week. Okay, but I can't thank you guys enough for all of the love and support that you have shown me since I've started this 3D tumbler journey. And I really appreciate all of the love and the sales and the support. If you have not gotten a chance to check me out, my website is sculpistry.com. It's also going to be linked in the description of this video. You could also come over to our Facebook group, Sculpistry Squad, and you can see what everyone is making, okay? But everyone is doing absolutely wonderful, and I just love seeing all of your creations. Okay, so the last part of this tutorial is the topper, okay? Again, I'm using a 16-ounce wine tumbler. It is a little bit curved. It's not like lid like, you know, the skinny tumblers. But either way, regardless of whatever tumbler you use, go ahead and scuff up that acrylic lid with a file. You could use an emery board, you can use a sanding block. I just happen to have this electric nail file, and I am just going over the acrylic, you know, just to kind of scuff it up to give it better adhesion, okay? I'm going to clean this off with some 91% alcohol. And I'm going to wipe off the debris. Then I'm going to go ahead and add again Bob's 15 mid-cure epoxy. You do not want to add so much epoxy that is dripping down, okay? But you do want to make sure that you're giving your lid full coverage. A rule of thumb that I use is wherever I sanded, I'm adding epoxy to. Okay, and so then you're going to take your topper and you're going to place it down carefully. You do want to make sure that your straw hole lines up. So this is where the extra straws come in handy. You know, I'm always talking about having some extra straws handy. This is where it comes in, okay? And you're gonna just take your straw, kind of make sure it goes through the hole. But if you remove that little sliding mechanism, you should be fine, okay? After you do that, you will notice if you use the wine tumbler, there's still a gap on both sides. That's because the lip of the lid kind of raises up on some of the wine tumbler lids, okay? So you are going to need to take a little bit of hot glue and go ahead and add it to those spots to close in the gap. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and kind of camouflage any imperfections and then seal all of this in. And then we are going to add a little bit of glitter around the base to, you know, like I said, camouflage that hot glue. Okay, real quick, remember I was talking about that acetate paper? You guys could do this if you want to kind of add glitter on top. You're just basically taking a little piece and you're just going to cut a small semicircle, and then you're going to use some UV resin to adhere it to this honey pot, okay? And then you're going to use whatever you want. I used Bob's 2-part epoxy only because it dries so quick. Like there's no point in doing anything else, but I used that and I added some glitter, and you know, that's how I made my drip. That's how I actually added it onto the top of the honey pot. Okay, the only thing that's left is to go ahead and add the wings. Okay, so these are 3D printed as well, and I did not feel the need to epoxy the wing. I epoxied the tumbler after I applied them, but I did not epoxy the wings. Okay, I didn't want to. I didn't want to take away from the texture, the design on the wings, but all I'm doing to adhere them to the tumbler is using a bit of hot glue, and I'm just going to put it on and press it in. That's pretty much it, okay? But it's totally up to you how you want to do it. Because I added the brim, it fits perfectly on the back of the tumbler. Okay, so you want to do that until you have the desired look. I just absolutely love the way this came out. There's so many cute designs that you could do. Again, if you are lacking inspiration, I invite you to come on into our Facebook group where you will not be lacking inspiration anymore. We have a very great group of talented artists that join us and share their tips and tricks. So come on over. And if you're interested in my mentorship group, but you're not sure if you want to dabble into 3D, you are more than welcome to join our SSVIP group, which is only $10 a month. Okay, that's also on my website, sculpestry.com. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I enjoyed sharing it with you. I love creating, and I love connecting. So please, follow me. I'll be sure to try to follow you back. Send me a message, an email. I would love to get to know you. Okay, thank you so much for supporting my channel and its growth, and I will see you guys next time.